Hi, my name is Michael and have another video for you today. And this one is regarding the Mandela Bible Change Believers deceitfully use the Bible. And I can't underscore this enough on how deceitfully they use the Bible. So for those that have seen some of my other Mandela videos, I'm challenging their position that the Bible has been supernaturally been changed. This is their premise, that the Bible has changed, and that they remember certain words and phrases differently than recorded in the Bible. When you listen to some of these people, they have this well thought out straw man that they make argument, and what they do is that they kind of get you to corner you in different questions until you kind of question yourself. And this is the way their tactics are to promote what they're saying. And with this tactic, they also quote Bible verses. They quote the Bible themselves. Now, here's the problem. Here is the elephant in the room. Once you say the Bible is supernaturally changed, how are you hypocritically saying that you can quote the Bible to have a truth that will justify their position? This is a non-starter at this point. So one of these websites or YouTube video people, they wanted me to get on their little podcast or something to have a discussion about the Bible, and my response to them is, first I would give them Malachi 4 videos. I talk 1 through 2 regarding the Bible has recorded Son of Righteousness, and they talk about that it was Son of Righteousness. So this is what's recorded in the Bible. This is what they believe. The problem is Malachi context does not allow them to use that word. So that if you're really honest in truth, then you have to say that that's not the case. So if they can't swallow that pill, that they're wrong on that, then there's no reason to have a discussion with them. And second, you can't have a discussion with someone about the Bible when they say the Bible has been supernaturally changed, and still allow them to have that conversation using the Bible. You can't have that kind of discussion. There's no discussion with someone who is going to say that the Bible has been changed but quoting the Bible. This is hypocrisy. This is what Jesus talks about, the hypocrisy of the Pharisees. You can't do it. You can't sit on 2 chairs, and you can't talk with the forked tongue. And that's what they're doing. They're talking with a forked tongue. Very easy to see. Very easy to see. So no, I'm not going to do any videos with these Bible Change Believers, because at the end of the day, they won't back down when you destroy their argument. And we're going to go to Malachi 4, and we're going to go directly to what they say is different. And then we're going to go to the context, and you're going to see it's very easy to take one sentence and say, well, that will fit better. So if you go to Malachi 4:2, and risen to you, ye who fear my name, hath the Son, S-U-N, of righteousness and healing in its wings, and ye have gone forth and have increased as calves of a stall. So if you just take that and say, but that is S-O-N, I remember that as being S-O-N, S-O-N. It can't be S-U-N, the Bible has changed. That's their position. And if you look at that verse by itself, you might say to yourself, maybe there's a point there. But the Bible doesn't allow you to change words like that. So let's look at context now. For lo, this This is Malachi 4:1. For lo, the day hath come. What's it making reference to? A day. And we're going to go back and forth on the same part. Hath come. Burning as a furnace. Okay, so we have a hot day. All right. And all the proud and every wicked doer have been stubble and burnt, and hath the day that came. The day hath came, said Jehovah or Yahweh of Hosts, that there is not left to them root or branch. So the day came to them, and the wicked is burnt. Now this is an exact parallel to the darnel and the tares. Remember, they're going to be burnt. They're gathered first and burnt. And here's the part where we were just discussing. And risen to you, ye who fear my name, hath the Son of Righteousness, and healing in its wings. So the first part of the day is heat, and the sun does give off heat. These people, this group of people, gets the heat. And risen to you, ye who fear my name, hath the Son of Righteousness, and healing in its wings. And ye have gone forth and increased as calves of a stall. This is the same day with two different outcomes for two different groups of people. This is a day. And if you go to the beginning of Malachi, it's making the distinction between Esau, who I hated, and Jacob that I've loved. So this is also the first words out of the Bible that God had spoken is, let light be. So light for us becomes righteousness, risen to who fear my name. For them, the day is heat and fire. And this is exactly what the Mandela people are getting. They don't even realize it. By them trying to change S-U-N to S-O-N, they are part of those that are going to get the heat. They're going to get the fire, the burning that this group of people go. So let's go a little further. And ye have trodden down the wicked, for they are ashes. Remember, burnt again, the heat part of the sun, under the soles of your feet in the day. So again, we're talking about a day again that I am appointing, said Jehovah Yahweh of Hosts. Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, that I did command him in the Horeb, for all Israel's statutes and judgments. Lo, I'm sending to you Elijah the prophet before the coming day of Jehovah the great and the fearful, and he hath turned back the heart of the fathers and sons, and the heart of the sons to their fathers, before I come and have utterly smitten the land. Again, we're using Elijah too. Elijah makes a distinction between the true prophets and the false prophets. This is also talking about Jesus. Jesus is the true witness of God. Jesus brought in the light, the truth, and grace. That's what Jesus brings in. Light. And it's very easy to see this. So the allegory or analogous thinking is always the same. So if you go to John 1, it's so easy. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This one was in the beginning with God. All things through him did happen, and without him happened not even one thing that hath happened. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. See, light, day, and the light in the darkness did shine, and the darkness did not perceive it. Now, there came a man, having been sent from God, whose name is John. This one came for testimony, that he might testify about the light. So you see, the Mandela people that believe that the Bible has changed are not really reading the Bible. They're just scouring the Bible to build their straw man. And their straw man disintegrates the second they try and use any Bible verses. So when you deal with these Mandela Bible believing people, do not even entertain them telling you anything about the Bible being changed and them using Bible verses to justify their position. It's like the person who is in a boat drilling through the boat and making a hole in their own boat while they're in the water. This is what they look like. You're in a boat so you don't sink. You're in the Bible, and the Bible connects with our spirit, and we have either the spirit of light or someone's going to have the spirit of darkness. Now, why do the Mandela people believe that the words have changed? Why? Because at the time of salvation, or the time we change our names, Abrai, A-B-R-A-I, became Abraham. Saul becomes Paul. Your identity changes. The way you perceive things change. You are no longer tied to the world like you used to be. You have a new sense of truth and light, and you will want to be in truth and light more and more. So these Mandela people have a change as well. When they look at the words of the Bible, they now judge the Bible. They judge the Word. And Jesus is the Word. By judging the Word, they are justifying themselves above the Word. They are glorifying themselves above the Word. So, what does that mean that you have to do? To do that, you have to do the same thing the Jews did. You have to crucify Jesus. That's what the Jews did. And the same way, the Mandela people are crucifying the Word and establishing their righteousness above God. This is the center of these Mandela people. And just recently, another person tried to, again, tell me to have a debate with one of these Mandela people. And again, I pointed them to Malachi, and they say I'm wrong. They say what I'm saying about Malachi is absolutely wrong, but we read it together. We read it together that it's talking about the light. Now, the light in us is still the Son of God as well. But we have to remember that it's not a supernatural understanding that the Bible has changed. It's that your perception of the words is the supernatural. When Paul was Saul, he was killing the Christians. He was crucifying. He was, Saul had the clothes of Stephen delivered to him. This was who he was in his identity before being face to face with Jesus. This is now the same thing the Mandela people are doing. They are crucifying the Word. They can't even conceive that they are under the judgment. Everybody else is wrong, but their memory is right. This is their position. And my memory is pretty strong, and yet I'm always going back to the Bible to ensure that I'm saying the same thing that the Bible says. Always, all the time. Because my memory is still fallible. But if you talk to the Mandela people, their memory is above God. They don't say it, but this is really what they're saying. Now, another fallacy that hypocrisy that they say is that they put the God's commandment in their heart. Okay, all right. They put it in their heart. Right. I never knew that you could take something, write it down, or put something in your heart with your will. Now, they say they kept that command to put the words of God in their heart. Now, is that a command that Jesus did not pay for on the cross? If you're going to look at commands that the Bible gives, if you don't fulfill those commands perfectly, then you're into the judgment. So what command does Jesus need you to do to be in the righteousness of God? For this to work the way they say, then there's no such thing as the word salvation, because then they're saving themselves. You see how tricky this slope is, where they don't even realize what they're saying? If they can keep a command, then that means there's no purpose for Jesus. And of course, if there is no purpose for Jesus, they are going to judge the word. And they have the righteousness above God. Salvation is saving you from something. It's saving you from your will, because your will is not able to keep the commands. Nobody's will is able to keep the commands. That's why Jesus took our place. That's why now we are in the righteousness of God. We become, on the cross, Jesus with the right hand pushes us up to God with the right hand. And the left hand are those that say, the ones that say to Jesus, help yourself and us, save thyself and us. The evil speaking judgment. This person was elevated because he condemned that person and said Jesus was a righteous man. So, this righteousness is also in the Word. The Word is righteous. The misconception or the misunderstanding of the Mandela people is that they don't realize that they've become the evil. They've become the lying wonders. Because if you listen to any of their videos, they go like this. They build either a straw man argument, they go to tangents, they talk about, Darth Vader, Luke, I am your father, or whatever, and they talk about all this stuff, and they'll quote like one verse, a different verse, but you can't just take the one verse out of context. You got to understand the context of the verse. That's why with Malachi, we're going to go back to Malachi. And I know that this is, I'm drilling this home with Malachi because this was right in the beginning. For lo, the day hath come, burning as a furnace, and all the proud and every wicked doer have been stubble, and burnt them hath the day that came, said Jehovah or Yahweh of Hosts, that there is not left to them root or branch. And risen to you, ye who fear my name, hath the Son of Righteousness. We enter the day with the Son of Righteousness. Remember, the sun rises on everybody. This group of people gets the heat. This group of people get the righteousness and the healing of the sun. So if you're dealing with these Mandela people that they're telling you that the Bible has changed, ask them about Malachi 4. The Bible records sun. They say it's sun. This is not supported in the text. So, if you're saying that the Bible was changed one word, then what is the context? How come the context does not support their assertions? Do not be in fear of these people. They're glorifying themselves because they need people to believe this lie. And this is where they gain power. Because remember, they're feeding you to Molech if you believe their lie. God bless.